On this week's StressLess Camping RV podcast, we're going to Atlanta, Illinois to check out the American Giants Museum, a new attraction on Route 66.
Yeah, it's a special place built just to celebrate the American Giants or Muffler Men, something I'm kind of obsessed with.
Well, anyway, welcome to the campfire.
Yep, I'm Tony.
I'm Peggy.
And we're two RV industry veterans who travel part-time.
Without a small trailer.
Yeah, not right now. Looking to share big adventures and help you with great tips,
tricks,
and discounts.
Yeah, so if you don't know, our trailer is in Indiana for some repairs, and we are home in New Mexico for 4 days, enjoying our beautiful weather for a few days. We are doing a couple of small trips without the trailer, which we of course will be talking about when they're happening. But for right now, we're home and loving it.
Yeah, and there's a story on Peggy's daily blog. Peggy's been knocking it out of the park, in my opinion, with a daily recap of our adventures when we have them, which is still happening. In fact, we're leaving in a couple of while you listen to this, we'll be listening to ourselves as we drive to Sedona.
That's right. We're going to be on our way to Sedona.
Yeah. So something I wanted to share, obviously for those of you who watch these on video, when we did the portable power station or solar generator episode, someone pointed out they saw a coyote in the background. Now we were filming that outside on our deck.
We were facing the same direction, but we were sitting right over there.
Right, and now we're in a screen porch.
Because that is way too sunny right now. It's too hot to sit in the sun.
But yeah, there was a coyote that ran by, and we do have, last night, boy, they were going nuts. So we do have roadrunners, coyotes, and rabbits. And
just like a cartoon.
Yeah, we don't order anything from Acme. But what we do like are the power systems from ABC Upfitters, who has a brand new website to share their information that just went live a few days ago. And if you're looking for anything from a drop-in battery replacement to a complete solar and lithium system for any size RV, I've seen them do Class Bs, Class As. A few weeks ago, we talked about a big fifth wheel with a monster system in it. The nice thing is, when you call them, they listen to you, they answer your questions honestly, and they're just really good people to deal with. So if you're solar curious or lithium curious, ABC Upfitters are good people to deal with. And they use all Mastervolt products. And the good thing about that is it's one company that does all the components, and that way there's no finger point. I went through this thing with finger pointing this week.
He dealt with something else this week, completely unrelated.
Yeah, not solar or lithium.
They have to help you with that. Okay, I called they, and they said them have to help you with that. Who's supposed to help me with that? Yeah,
that device is probably going to get launched. So anyway, but not anything from ABC Upfitters. A totally different experience. And that's one of the things I like about them. So you can visit their new website at abcupfitters.com.
Or give them a call at 574-333-3225. That's 574-333-3225. I hope you didn't try to write it down while you were driving. We'll put it in the show notes, wherever those end up.
So they'll be down below or up above or somewhere to the side
straight across our faces.
As always, you can find our show notes, links to ABC Upfitters, all of that at our home on the web at StressLessCamping.com. So this week, we were coming home from Indiana, and we sort of revisited some of our Route 66 adventures.
Yeah.
But we came across a brand new place.
Yeah.
And I am a big fan of Joel Baker, and Joel Baker has really brought out the Muffler Men or American Giants, really made them people more aware of them and made them more popular, I guess. And
he has rescued a lot of them.
Oh gosh,
right?
yeah.
He'll find them behind someone's barn that's been laying there for 20 years getting rusty and moldy. Not rusty.
Not rusty, they're fiberglass.
Fiberglass.
But
getting moldy and faded, and he will rehabilitate them and then put them standing back up somewhere so everyone can enjoy them again.
yeah, and so because I think partially because of his YouTube channel, they have become more popular. There's collector interest. There's also a gent named Mark Klein who has a lot of the molds from the company that originally made these American Giants or Muffler Men in the 60s. And he's recreating them like the Buck Adam, who is on my shirt today.
In Tulsa.
Or the mayor of Uranus, Missouri.
Uranus?
Of Uranus.
Where the best fudge comes from?
That's the fact, Jack.
And don't forget about Buck's new girlfriend.
Oh, Buck's getting a girlfriend.
Yeah.
Stella.
Yeah.
That will be going up in the next week or
Very
so.
shortly. So, yeah. So,
there's all this renewed interest in these big giants that were popular in the 60s and are becoming popular again. But there's a museum in Atlanta,
Illinois,
that is a replica of an old Texaco station. And they have space for, I believe, 5 of these giants outside, including one of only a few remaining Texaco Big Friends, which was... Anyway, we have an interview with Bill Thomas, who's the curator of this museum. Mm-hmm. And so without any further ado, let's roll tape on our interview with Bill Thomas. Well, I have the privilege of being here with Bill Thomas. And tell us a little bit about the town we're in, but more importantly, what are all these big people doing around here?
These big people are having a really good time in Atlanta, Illinois, and they're bringing all kinds of folks to come see them. Atlanta, Illinois is a very small town, 1,649 people. We are right on Route 66, halfway between Chicago and St. Louis here in Illinois.
Oh, okay. And we've been here. You are a harvest host, which is relevant, I should say, to RVing.
Right. We host a lot of harvest host RV self-contained campers during the summer.
So is the whole town a harvest host location, or?
No, we have multiple sites here in town. I think we're up to 4 right now, and we're planning one on the driveway right behind this museum.
Oh, also. Man.
So you can come here and stay next to the Land of the Giants rest stop.
And speaking of giants, we are in, it's a replica of a Texaco station?
Yes. Way back, early 1900s through the 1930s, there was a service station on this lot, but it got torn down many years ago. And when we found out one of the giants we were going to have here was going to be a Texaco Big Friend from that advertising campaign, we decided to model the museum building after a mid-1960s Texaco service station.
And that is quite significant. So outside, right now, we have 2 of the international fiberglass giants. Some people call them Muffler Men, and that's a common search term, but the giants. And one of those is, well, they're both very rare.
They are very rare. The snurred giant that reminds everyone of Alfred E. Newman from Mad Magazine is on the grounds of the museum.
What, me worry?
Right. He's very rare. There are hardly any of those left.
I've hunted these for a while, and I've never seen one. In person.
No. And then probably even, well, I know it's rarer even still, back in the mid-1960s when Texaco ran a special nationwide advertising campaign, they had International Fiberglass build 300 24-foot tall Muffler Men that looked like their service station attendants. Long story short, the campaign was a disaster. They kept falling over. The gas station owners really didn't like to have to move them around. So Texaco said, destroy all 300. 6 managed to survive, and we have the only one of those original 6 that's been fully restored.
Man, and that's pretty cool. So these things have really, they started as an advertising gimmick, really, right?
Yes.
The first Paul Bunyan, I guess, had a customer who fell through, and so the head of International Fiberglass in the 60s basically was trying to peddle this guy and finally did.
Yeah, he loaded him up on a trailer in California because, like you say, the original sale fell through. So he put him on a trailer, headed off on Route 66, and when he got to Flagstaff, Arizona, he found a buyer.
Wow.
And that was the very first one.
And that was a Paul Bunyan.
That was a Paul Bunyan, yes.
And is that still there? I don't know.
I believe it is still there. I believe it's at the university.
Oh, right.
Yes.
Yep, we've seen him then.
Yes.
We've chased the Giants up and down Route 66, which is why we've been here before, because you're a hot dog guy.
Yes.
So,
our Bunyan Giant, the guy, 19-foot tall statue of a giant holding a hot dog, he's been with us for 20 years now.
Wow. And how did that come to pass?
He stood for 40 years in front of a hot dog stand up in Cicero, Illinois on Route 66. When the owner retired and decided to sell off the business, he was actually going to sell the Giant, and the Illinois Route 66 Association reached out to the family and said, oh, please don't sell him. If we can find a town that will host him, will you let him stay in Illinois? So that's how he ended up here in Atlanta.
And you've had the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile there.
Oh, I didn't know you know about that. That was
I like these things.
Oh, talk about a thrill in my life. My office is just across the street from the Bunyan Giant. And I mean, what more could you ask for than to look out your window and see the Wienermobile pull up? Yeah, that was a wonderful spot. And they did not know he was here.
Oh, really?
No, they did not know he was here. They happened to get off of Interstate 55 and decided to check out downtown Atlanta, and there he is.
Wow. So in addition to the American Giants Museum, which is what this is officially called, correct?
Yes.
In addition to the American Giants Museum, there's a bunch of other neat stuff here in Atlanta.
We think so. We've been really working hard to develop tourist experiences and opportunities for folks to see some things. Probably one of the most unusual things, I don't know if there's another one all along 66, we had a coal mine here in town. I believe it started in like the late 1870s, and for 40 years they tried to mine coal out of it. They were never successful. It kept filling up with water, but one of the original shafts remained, and 2 years ago we cleaned out the shaft, put in viewing lights, and made a platform. So now you can go over and learn the story of the coal mine and look down into this shaft.
You can get the whole story.
The whole story, yes. Yes.
Peggy just groaned. So let's tell me.
In addition to that, we have a very interesting agricultural attraction you can come and see, and that's our J.H. Hawes Grain Elevator Museum. You know what a grain elevator is?
Yeah, and it's the last wooden one, right?
Well, it's one of only 3 in the nation that is listed on the National Register of Historic Places, and ours is the only one of those that's been restored and is operable.
And then you have some neat shops. We just were at the museum. There's neat curio shops, and it's just a cute little town.
We appreciate that, and we have lots of international visitors that come every year, and it's great when they say, oh, I wanted to see the real America, and I think I'm seeing it. And I said, yeah, you are.
Yeah, absolutely. So, well, anything else we should, I know that the Giants that are here belong to Joel Baker, correct?
Yes, all of the artifacts that are here at the American Giants Museum are on loan from Joel, and the only other thing I'd share with you is between now and the Route 66 Centennial in 2026, we'll be getting 4 more.
Yeah.
So we'll have a contingent of 6 here on this little block.
So you have the super rare Texaco Big Friend, you have a Snurd, I know you're getting a Viking.
The list may include.
We're
pretty certain we're going to get a Viking. We think we might get an original, wasn't Texaco, Phillips 66 Cowboy, a regular Bunyan Giant holding an axe, because we don't have one of those, and then who knows what else might show up.
Maybe a Uniroyal girl. You have her. You have her head.
We have her head, but no, we are getting a Uniroyal gal, but not associated with the museum.
Oh,
This is a wonderful story. There's a wonderful family restaurant out by the Route 66 bypass and Interstate 55. And when they saw what was happening here, the restaurant owner that I've known for 25 years said, Bill, we want a waitress giant. So it's being built by the same people that built Buck Adams' Companion, and she's in the process of being painted. We'll get her in July.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
So, for those of you who may have followed my obsession with these giants, I often stop in Tulsa, Oklahoma at Buck Adams Atomic Curios, which is what the shirt that I'm wearing is from, and he's getting a woman.
Yes,
so
he's getting a friend, a mate.
And there's the interesting thing is international. So I think my interest in these started. I grew up in Inglewood, California, which is right adjacent to Venice.
Yeah.
And these things were not uncommon, and I was just fascinated by them as a kid.
Me too. There was a uniroyal giant in Peoria, Illinois, and every Sunday of my life when we'd go see the grandparents, we'd drive by the uniroyal giant. Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, and of course in winter she's wearing a skirt and a blouse.
Yes.
In summer she's got a bikini.
Yes, and they still do that. She's still there on Washington Street.
Oh, that's it's bikini season.
Yes, it's bikini season.
Time to go check out a giant woman in a bikini.
Yeah, you might need to get over to Peoria.
And the history of these is that, we had talked about the Bunyan, and all of a sudden International Fiberglass, a company that was in Venice, California, got these things are selling. So they made the Bunyan, they made the Native American guy, they made the Uniroyal gal, they made the Texaco Big Friend. They made quite a few of these, and they would tailor them based on the business.
Right.
So not everybody has a lumber mill in their backyard, but you might have a restaurant. Yeah.
Right.
So anyway, that's where we are today in Atlanta, Illinois. And Bill, I sure appreciate your time.
We sure appreciate you stopping by.
Yeah, it's not our first time, and it definitely won't be our last.
Good. Come back anytime.
Absolutely, will do. Thank you.
Right, thank you.
Hopefully you enjoyed that interview with Bill. We have a whole article at StressLess Camping about the history of the American Giants or Muffler Men, and links to Joel's YouTube channel and so much more. So if you're nutty like me and you like these giant plastic people, we're a good place to turn to learn more.
Yeah. So we talked about being in Atlanta, and all we've mentioned so far is the American Giants Museum, but we found out, so 3 years ago when we did our first Route 66 trip, we discovered Atlanta. They're a harvest host. And unfortunately, the communication was not great with us, and we couldn't really figure out where the harvest host exactly was in Atlanta. Well, it turns out it's pretty much the whole town.
They keep adding spots in the town that are harvest host locations. So
so now it's easier to figure it out. And also we got to spend a day, kind of almost a whole day in Atlanta, finding our way around. So now we know where the parking lots are big, we know where the spaces are, but we also got to see a lot of other things so Atlanta is on original Route 66.
It's a small town.
It's a small town, but it has a quarter mile, I believe, of like original pavement road and a kind of a replica billboard from back in the day of Route 66. And we had seen that. And then there's also another kind of corner of town where you can visit I have to look. I'm trying not to look at the notes, but
there's a coal mine
yeah,
that was never successful, but they've pumped the water out of it, shown some lights down. You can look down the hole.
On the mine shaft. So there's it's like a whole museum of like the history of the coal mining there. And then there's a historic carriage house with a replica of a horse and carriage in there. And
yeah, they're not horsing around.
And there's also an all wood grain elevator. So those are all kind of one parking, looking around at things. There's the downtown kind of walking area where there's a lot of shops and fun things. There's also a museum that has the history of Atlanta. And there's also a quirky, I think they call it quirky Route 66 museum.
Yeah, that fits.
That's called Memories. I wrote too
Yeah.
many notes and I can't see it.
Yeah, the
Memories, the Memories
Yep.
Memory Museum, and that was kind of fun. And then we wandered through the shops, and there's a lot of souvenir shops and stuff. There is a sweet shop, but we were there actually on a holiday, which we didn't realize. So the sweet shop was closed, unfortunately. And there's a coffee shop that was highly recommended, but we weren't there in the right time for coffee either. So that's why we have to go back.
Yeah, and stay at a Harvest Host.
Yeah, stay at a Harvest Host.
Or, well, it is a Harvest Host, and stay through Harvest Hosts.
Right, and Bill told us that behind the museum, they're trying to get that as another Harvest Host parking spot. So that makes, I think, 5 parking spaces throughout town.
That would be so cool.
Yeah. And also, speaking of American Giants, a new giant is coming to town, not at the museum, but at the Country Air restaurant.
Yeah, which we really enjoyed. We stayed, because the trailer is being worked on, we stayed at this motel that was completely automated. It was the trippiest thing.
Yeah.
And there's a story about it in Peggy's daily blog, but it was trippy because it's completely automated.
Yeah, so it's called the Trails Inn. Yeah, and you just go in and there's a code that they texted you and a little door pops open like those Amazon pickup things.
Yeah, it's
door pops open and there's your room
you
keys.
Get a room.
And then we went to breakfast at the Country Air, which is famous for its pies. And so
oh my gosh, yeah.
Rumor has it that their American Giant will be a waitress holding a pie.
Yes. So they're going to get one of the Uniroyal girls. The original design for these fiberglass women was from Uniroyal Tire. And so the interesting thing is it's the only one where you can actually just display it in a bikini, or you can display it with an outfit.
With clothes on.
So you can take the clothes on and off at will.
So they're like fabric clothes.
No, they're fiberglass.
They're still fiberglass.
Yeah, they're still fiberglass.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. In fact, there's a museum. There's a tire shop, apparently, that still has one of the original Uniroyal gals. And that's what they called them, by the way.
Gals.
Yeah, Uniroyal gals. And they, as the seasons change, they take her shirt and skirt off. There she is, stood in a bikini, which elicited a lot of negative comments from some people back when these were new. So
other things that we didn't mention were there is a Muffler Man that's been in town for a long time, and that's how was it Joel or
that's how Joel
found Atlanta.
Right.
But it's a Paul Bunyan, but he's holding a big old hot dog.
And it was from a hot dog stand.
Yeah, from a hot dog stand, and then got moved to Atlanta. And there's also a library that's 8-sided, like brick building, very cool looking, and a nice little small park that has a lot of shade trees, and we just
a bubbler.
And we sat in the park and just looked at the library for a while to rest our feet.
Yeah. Speaking of pie.
Are you hungry?
Well, I'm not hungry, but I see what our recipe of the week is. And I'm thinking,
yes.
That looks good.
So we're traveling all the way back in that Wayback Machine to January when we were in Quartzsite, and we had a potluck, and Christine made...
Oh, yeah, that was so good.
Dark rum pecan pie. And it was so good. And that will be our recipe this week. Now, I will have to admit that I haven't memorized the recipe, so I can't tell you what's in it, but I can tell you there's pecans and dark rum.
Yeah, and
loads
pie.
of sugar.
Probably.
And so that recipe will be on our recipes page at StressLessCamping.com, and you'll just have to believe me that it's there, and you'll have to go look at it, because I can't tell you how to make it right now.
Right. Well, or you could contact Christine.
I guess you could try calling.
But it'll be on our website. So, well, we have a new gadget that we bought, and it's something. So as we head towards Quartzsite, which is January, we are thinking through some ideas. And what you may not know is our trailer, our Rockwood, has no speakers whatsoever, because it originally came with a my brain, a 12-volt.
Smart TV.
Well, it wasn't that smart.
Yeah.
And it wasn't smart enough to stay on the wall. So it not only is a TV, as you would imply by the name Smart TV. But it was also the Bluetooth speaker that we used in the trailer.
That they put, that's what Rockwood provides as a
Right.
speaker in the trailer.
It's now, what's standard. And as we mentioned in the episode about what's coming in the RV industry, we've seen this same TV, but now it is a smart TV as opposed to what we had, which is fine because we don't really watch TV.
Yeah.
So all that goes to say we don't have speakers in our travel trailer at all at the moment. And I've been itching, as you may know, I'm kind of a big fan of Ryobi OnePlus stuff.
And every time Ryobi says there's something new, Tony's like, I got to go to the store right now.
Yeah, I've got an addiction.
So I think it was just last week, right, that we talked about the fans?
Yeah, the clamp fan.
The clamp-on fan. And so you can clamp this onto, hopefully not just your fingers. I think I mentioned I was going to clamp it to my shirt just so I'd have air right in my face. And I can't get it off. And then it's got, 2 levels of fan. And we talked about this last week. Now, from afar, you might get confused between this and...
So Ryobi makes this Verse 18-volt clamp speaker. So it's got the same clamp situation to hurt your fingers, since you did it. But it's a Bluetooth speaker. And so some of the neat thing that it shares with the fan is that the head moves all around. It's got the clamp, so you can clamp it to stuff. You can hook up one Bluetooth speaker, obviously, but you can also hook up to 100 of these speakers together. And it's really easy to do. I bought 2 of these. So you just power it up and you sync it to whatever Bluetooth thing you want to get sound from, phone or tablet, whatever. And then if you want to sync more, you push this button, the second button, and it's really easy to keep adding these devices. And I mean, I can imagine having 100 of these all over the yard.
So the way that it was advertised is the first one will reach 250 feet from your source.
Right.
So 250 feet, and then every additional speaker can go 100 feet. So that's 100 feet, 10,000 feet. That's 2 miles that you can stand here and have your speaker saying the same thing 2 miles away.
Yeah. Well, and
I don't know that we'll ever get to the point where we're testing 100 of them at a time, but
goals. No, I'm just kidding. The neat thing is, so we also have a JBL Clip Bluetooth speaker that we had been using, and truthfully, that sounds better than these do. But these don't sound bad. It's a little like 1.5-inch driver. It's a small driver. I was surprised when I synced the second one. It does sound significantly better with 2. Oh. So I can imagine what it's like with 100.
With 100.
But
let's, instead of 2 miles, can we just put them all around? Right. 100 locations around our 1 acre and blast them all toward us.
Hey, there we go. So I have a whole written review of these and a video review of these, but they're not bad little speakers. And if you already have this Ryobi battery, then maybe $60 for a Bluetooth speaker is not a bad investment. It's totally up to you, obviously. I am reasonably pleased with this. It'll be traveling with us now, along with those fans and drills and lights and all manner of other Ryobi stuff. But
so I don't know. I think you started to say quartzite, and
I did.
So our goal is not to have 100 of these, but our goal is to have maybe 4 of them, because as you know, we manage the seminar tent, or you may not know, but anyway, it's I forget what size,
it's
20
10 by 20,
40 so our goal is to put a speaker in each of the corners so that there is kind of surround sound for the speakers to be able to hear.
So yeah, that's the idea, so that it sounds good in that tent. We have been bringing a professional, what they call line array. It's a JBL Eon 1 with us, and it's big and bulky, bulky. The sound is all in one hot spot and then blasts backwards. So I'm hoping with 4 or maybe 6 of these, we'll be able to do a good job covering that tent. So we'll see. If you're in Quartzsite, you'll know. And then if we're at a site and we're there, we could put some music on and
Have a dance party.
have a dance party or not, whatever.
Bring your disco ball.
Ooh.
How about, are there Bluetooth speakers in your RV of the week?
I would imagine that there are, but I didn't specifically look. So if you don't know, Grand Design, which heretofore has made only towables, fifth wheels, and travel trailers, made a big announcement that they are now going to be building a Class C. And the very first of these is on the Mercedes Sprinter chassis. So it'll be powered by their little 4-cylinder diesel. And there's a whole review, and I'll put a link to that, it's not a review, sorry. It's a video that our friend Mac Foxcroft put out, interviewing the guy who is behind this thing. I am pretty impressed with a lot of what I saw in that video, and we'll have a full review of that motorhome. But if you're interested, check out the video Matt did. Few things really stand out to me. Well, yeah. One, it's on the 450 or 45, I don't remember what Mercedes calls it, but it's on a more capable chassis than most Class Cs, so that's good. The way they built the edges and corners is really very different. It's like aluminum channels all around, and they said they could run wires through it. That looks really good. They are using some unusual windows that I really liked. The way they did the electrical system is just brilliant. Under the step, they have 2 lithium batteries standard.
Ooh.
And there's not a fuse box. Well, there is a fuse box. Instead of using fuses, they're using relays. So even the 12 volt. Or breakers rather, not relays.
Oh, okay.
That's
12 volt breakers?
Yeah. It's really different.
Interesting. Okay.
But the thing that was most exciting to me is they're using SharkBite plumbing fixtures. So a lot of things about this look like they are really doing a great job. And I'm eager to see one of these in person. It's a Class C. It's the same layout I've seen from a number of people. It does have a king bed, although it's a foldy bed.
Okay.
But, I mean, that's the only way you're getting a king bed in a Class C.
Yeah.
But
does the bathroom door open?
Well, I saw Matt go in and out.
Okay. Fair enough.
So, it's that same layout as that one we saw where there's no...
Couldn't get in the bathroom door.
This one, Matt got in and out. So it looks like they've done a better job there. Just looks like Grand Design really did a great job with this thing. So we'll see, obviously, but I'm kind of excited to look at this. At first, I'm like, why do they need to do a Class C? And then the more I saw about this, the more I'm thinking, boy, and the guy who was behind it was so excited. You could just tell. And a lot of little details. So it looks like they've done an exceptional job. We'll see.
Great.
But if you're looking for a Class C, I would probably hold out to at least touch one of these in person.
Okay. All right.
Maybe there'll be one at a meetup.
Maybe there will be one at a meetup. Meetup. Oh, last week's question of the week was, would you be interested in attending a StressLess Camping meetup? And I felt a little bit weird asking this question because we already have a meetup in Quartzsite. Yeah. It's going to be an annual thing. This is only the second annual coming up in January, but
so that means
still,
this last year was the inaugural.
But anyway, we were thinking about maybe doing something a little closer to home for us and a little more kind of central United States, a little bit more central, not the dead center, but it's a little more in the center of the United States, which is one of the reasons we're here in New Mexico. So we were thinking, and we haven't fleshed this out at all, but we were thinking maybe something.
Well, yeah, why would we do something silly like that?
Maybe something in New Mexico or Colorado area. And I'm thinking, we haven't really talked about this, but I'm thinking next fall, because fall is pretty great temperatures. And I used to love spring, but spring here is pretty windy. So I'm thinking maybe fall, maybe late October or something. But anyway, we got a lot of answers, and that was great. And thank goodness nobody said, "Are you kidding? No way." Because that
Yeah,
would be
right.
odd.
With you guys?
A couple of the notable notes were that somebody said only if Cindy does the bonfires. And I think if we got Cindy and Manya together,
Oh, we would
we'd probably,
burn. Yeah,
the whole state would be a fire.
yeah. I don't know
That
if
might
that's
not be
so good.
good.
Yes, getting Cindy and Manya together on fires.
But they don't make bad fires. They make big
No.
fires.
Yeah,
So,
they just are really good at campfires.
Several people said they would come if there were potlucks, and my response is, why would we not have a potluck? Like,
Right?
that's the whole point, is to eat other people's food, right?
We're here to eat.
Quartzsite is happening. So someone said something about Quartzsite, and that is happening. I'm pretty sure it'll be January 27th to February 2-ish, right in that, like last week of January, beginning of February. Someone asked for Ohio, and that maybe is a little bit too far east to be the center of the United States. But maybe someday we'll plan something in Ohio.
Yeah.
Who knows? And also Northern California, which we did go back to Northern California last year, but we didn't really plan a big meetup. So that gives us, a lot of options. And so we will just kind of think about getting to those parts of the country. But for the most part, really roughly speaking, maybe October-ish 2025, probably New Mexico, Colorado. That's as far as we've gotten.
I have some wheels turning already.
Okay, but thank you for your responses. And,
Yes.
And, that helps us kind of know that the bonfires and the potlucks are the important part. So we'll make sure we get those planned in. This week, we have a question, and our question is, what is your favorite road food or guilty pleasure when you're on the road? I keep seeing this meme all over the place in like especially in a lot of like RV groups and stuff on Facebook that says, road snacks should look like an unsupervised 9-year-old was let loose with $100 bill.
That was us. We went to Wally's.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I'm sure you've heard of Buc-ee's.
Sure.
But we stopped at one of two
Wally's,
which is kind of a Buc-ee's
It looks like
product.
It wants to be a Buc-ee's competition.
Yeah.
Maybe, kind of different parts of the state. These were in Missouri and Illinois.
Okay.
We ended up at the one in Missouri, and
very, very similar to Buc-ee's
very
layout
similar.
And design, except more friendly to RVers, in my opinion.
Yeah,
and
bigger
different
parking
snacks,
spaces.
But they had brisket sandwiches, and they talked about how clean their restrooms were, and I have to say, they were not as clean as Buc-ee's, but they were not bad either.
But mine were, so
okay.
I think timing was off.
Maybe.
Because someone was just leaving the women's bathroom from cleaning. So maybe they were headed to the men's bathroom to
Perhaps.
clean.
And that's in your daily blog?
That is in my daily blog. Yeah, we talked about that.
So
anyway,
where could I answer?
Tell us about your crazy snacks, because, we're always looking for better ideas.
Yeah, especially after I stepped on the scale this week and it cried.
Yeah, maybe give us snacks that are like calorie-free. Perhaps?
No way. That's not the idea. It's supposed to look like a 9-year-old got let loose with a $100 bill.
That 9-year-old's not going to buy anything that's healthy.
No. All right. And where would I answer said question?
So answer said question, all the questions, ask your questions, show us pictures of yourself camping at our fun and friendly StressLess Campers Facebook group.
And did you know, of course you did, that we do a once a week newsletter?
Of course they know that.
It's completely free. And it is, unlike our pantry, it is spam free. Well, actually, right now our pantry
is spam free.
By the way, we went to the spam museum, as you know, and got maple spam. I'm obsessed. It's so good.
And he couldn't find it locally, so now he's like ordering it online.
Yeah, I ordered it on Amazon. It's good.
Because you got to have maple spam.
Yeah, but anyway, that newsletter is spam free. Our pantry won't be for much longer. And also, you can find the show notes for this episode on the podcast page at StressLessCamping.com.
And this is episode number 261.
Absolutely.
Don't also forget, while you're on the StressLessCamping.com website, about our deals and discounts page. We are kind of constantly moving and changing and adding and updating that page, and things change a lot. So if you haven't looked lately, go check out the deals and discounts page. Maybe there's something there that you're thinking about buying, and you'll buy it now because you find a discount on
right.
it.
And of course, we're all in the social places, all the places that, you like to waste time when the boss ain't looking. And if you would like to join us in the social world, you can do so. We're probably wherever you are, and you can start at StressLessCamping.com, and from there jump off to all the places that you and we like to be social.
We have told you before, we will tell you again, but reviews are our lifeblood. And we really appreciate the reviews that we get, and we really would love if you would take a moment and whatever you're using to listen to this podcast has a place where you can write a review of the podcast, and we would sure appreciate it if you would write a review. It really helps us. It helps everybody else find us.
It introduces new listeners to the podcast.
Yeah.
And then, it expands the audience. And the more people, the better the deals and discounts. People reach out to us to have. And so thank you to all of those who have reviewed us. Thank you to you who are about to.
That's right.
And if you have already done so, we have answers to a lot of the questions people ask on social media. So if you see someone ask a question and you want a actual reliable answer that's been vetted, maybe find it on the StressLess Camping website and share that page.
Yeah.
I can't tell you
that's
how
also very,
awesome
very
that
helpful.
is. Yeah. So there you go. That's what we have for you this week. Maybe you're going to go and check out the Muffler Men. Maybe there's a Muffler Man in your front yard.
Yeah, and if you know that there is one and we haven't seen it yet, please let us know, because we will plan that trip.
Yes, we will. So with that, thank you so much for being here again this week. And most of all,
Stressless camping.